Have you ever wondered what happens when love defies even the gods themselves? Well, in a world where beauty, jealousy, and desire intertwine, the story of Adonis, a mortal man whose allure captured the hearts of not one, but two powerful goddesses, is what we're rooting for. Let's get into it. In a land of ancient wonders, there lived a man named Adonis, whose name was whispered through the age-old woods like a haunting tune. He wasn't just an ordinary mortal, he was a living masterpiece of breathtaking beauty. As he wandered through the lush forests, it was as if the very air itself held its breath in admiration. Even the flower nymphs revered him, as if he were a deity in the flesh. One day, Adonis's extraordinary beauty caught the attention of none other than Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty and love. She was playing in the forest with her mischievous son, Eros, who was busy sharpening his golden arrows when Adonis's sight stopped her in her tracks. She couldn't help but sing his praises to her own beloved child. However, Eros, consumed by jealousy, turned away from his mother, continuing to sharpen his arrows with disdain. Aphrodite, the caring mother, tried to comfort Eros, assuring him that he would always be the most beautiful in her eyes. But in her attempt to soothe him, she accidentally pricked herself with one of Eros's arrows, and her heart was pierced by a love as strong as any she had ever bestowed. Aphrodite couldn't resist the magnetic attraction of Adonis's enchanting presence. She couldn't help herself and approached him, her eyes filled with seduction that could capture not only mortals but even gods themselves. Adonis, realizing this captivating woman could be none other than Aphrodite, confessed his humble mortality. Aphrodite's curiosity grew, as she had never encountered a mortal who was so close to the divine in terms of beauty. As she got closer to Adonis, her irresistible allure became impossible to resist, even for a god. Their lips met, sparking a passionate love affair that would consume their days. Each day was a celebration of their love, under the warm embrace of spring's blossoming beauty. But destiny has a way of weaving complicated and controversial stories, and one day Persephone, the queen of the Underworld, stumbled upon the sensually charged couple during one of her wanderings. Her heart danced with delight at the sight, and one could assume she was genuinely happy for them. But little did she know that Eros, the god of love, had another prank in store. With a mischievous twang of his bow, Eros struck Persephone's heart, binding her in the same web of love that bound Adonis and Aphrodite. It was now that Persephone decided that Aphrodite should enjoy her love while it lasted, because one day, the beautiful Adonis would be hers. After all, he is nothing but mortal. While all this was cooking, Aphrodite's love for Adonis knew no limits. She worried constantly about his safety, fearing that his adventurous hunts would lead to harm. Adonis reassured her, promising that he was an experienced hunter who wouldn't take unnecessary risks. Little did they know, Ares, the god of war and Aphrodite's secret lover, watched over Adonis with intense jealousy. Ares, known for his cunning strategies, understood that Adonis's love for hunting rivaled his own love for Aphrodite. He plotted his revenge in secret, setting in motion a tragic sequence of events. One fateful day, Adonis encountered a massive and ferocious boar, challenging his very existence. Ares stoked the fires of Adonis's bloodlust, causing him to forget his promise to Aphrodite to avoid unnecessary danger. Adonis engaged the monstrous beast in battle, his skills allowing him to wound it. However, Ares, further provoking the boar's rage, encouraged it to charge at Adonis with fury. With a savage thrust of its powerful tusks, the boar pierced deep into Adonis's abdomen, leaving him fatally wounded, almost ready to die. As soon as Aphrodite was alerted by the grim turn of events, she rushed to her beloved's side. However, despair and sorrow filled her heart as she realized there was nothing more she could do. She cried desperately as Adonis took his last breath in her arms. After accepting the bitter truth, Aphrodite lovingly buried her lost love, and from the sacred ground where his body rested, crimson flowers, known as Adonis's blood, bloomed as a tribute to his memory. Now, just when you thought the story was over, while one goddess mourned her lost love, another eagerly awaited the arrival of the most beautiful man ever to exist in the Underworld. As Aphrodite wept, her tears flowed into the Underworld, catching the attention of Hermes, the messenger of the gods. He had come to guide Adonis's soul to the realm of Hades, where Persephone, the queen of the Underworld, eagerly anticipated the arrival of her heart's desire, ignited by Eros's mischievous arrow. In the dark and hidden world beneath the earth, Adonis found himself in an unexpected and grand reception. He didn't realize just how deeply Persephone loved him, as he was welcomed by spectral beings in her name. These loyal followers of Persephone guided Adonis into a chamber within the royal palace, all while Hades, the ruler of the underworld, remained unaware in his slumber. Yet Persephone's burning desire for Adonis led her to infiltrate his chamber. Adonis, fearing the wrath of Hades, tried to resist Persephone's advances. He knew the consequences could be dire, but Persephone promised to keep his presence hidden from Hades. With no way to escape, Adonis eventually gave in to the goddess's intense desire. These secretive encounters continued, and a forbidden love affair in the dimly lit halls of the underworld kept growing. Meanwhile, on the surface, Aphrodite, Adonis's true love, pined for him. She made up her mind to descend into the world of Hades and rescue her beloved Adonis. However, upon her arrival, Hades was not pleased by Aphrodite's interference. Her bold demands clashed with his authority. Hades made it clear that he cared more for the services Adonis provided to his kingdom than for Aphrodite's wishes. He declared that Adonis would stay in the underworld indefinitely. Aphrodite, in her desperation, threatened to erase all love from the earth, leaving only bitterness and strife among couples. Refusing to yield, Hades banished Aphrodite from his domain, and she left with tears in her eyes. Little did he know that her warnings were not empty threats. Across the mortal world, love between couples began to wither and fade. Even the tumultuous relationship between Zeus and Hera, the king and queen of the gods, grew increasingly unbearable. Zeus realized that a resolution was necessary, so he summoned Hades, Persephone, and Aphrodite to find a solution. In a divine council, Zeus proposed a compromise. Just as Hades had taken Demeter's daughter Persephone for part of the year, he should do the same with Adonis. Adonis would spend 1/3 of the year in the underworld, 1/3 on the surface with Aphrodite, and 1/3 as he pleased. Hades, initially irritated by Zeus's interference, resisted this proposal. However, to his surprise, Persephone, who adored Adonis as her favorite servant, agreed to the arrangement for the greater good. Bewildered by her agreement, Hades reluctantly accepted the compromise. With the arrival of spring, Adonis emerged from the underworld to reunite with his beloved Aphrodite. Their love blossomed once again, a testament to the enduring power of passion. But as summer approached, Aphrodite knew that they would be separated once more. Summer marked the time when Persephone came to the surface to reunite with her mother, Demeter. During this season, Adonis and Persephone fell in their forbidden love, disregarding the consequences. Yet, the tension between Aphrodite and Persephone remained, both vying for Adonis's affection, each trying to prolong their time with him. And that's why, in some years, it seemed as if winter stayed longer, and summer heat intensified, as the two goddesses tried to maximize their time with Adonis. The eternal triangle between Aphrodite, Persephone, and Adonis continued to weave a tale of love, longing, and sacrifice that would echo through the ages. The story of Adonis, Aphrodite, and Persephone teaches us that love, wanting, and giving up something important are things people often go through. This story has been told for a long time and shows how love can be tricky, even for gods. It reminds us that love can be complicated, whether you're mortal or divine, and that even gods can't escape the power of their feelings. That's it for today's video. Meet you in the next one.